A beauty of a night for baseball. The roof is open here at Miller Park. We've got tailgating, all the good stuff you would want, including interleague play. It's game 2, the Minnesota Twins and the Milwaukee Brewers in the border battle here in Brewtown. Francisco Liriano out on the hill. He's tossed a no-hitter already this year for Minnesota, and he's trying to keep the Twins in contention in the AL Central. Meanwhile, Giovanni Gallardo is looking for a win that would keep the Crew in first place in the National League Central. They have a 1-game lead over St. Louis opening play here tonight. So that is the pitching matchup. We do have a good one for you here in Game 2. Hi, everybody. I'm Craig Kashan as our coverage of Brewers baseball continues on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And speaking of continuing, the hitting streak for Ryan Braun keeps climbing. It's up to 15 now, the longest of his career. And he extended it on Friday night with a clutch RBI double. Prince Fielder, though, got the go-ahead 2 RBI double in the 7th inning. That propelled the team offensively to a win in Game 1. And that set up the Brewers as being the only team continuing to not lose consecutive home games. That streak of 38, the longest right now in the National League since 1979. Well, Prince is king, and he hopes to make a royal connection one more time tonight. BA and Rock. Tell us how when we come back.
Sports Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. By AT&T. And brought to you by Toyota, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Toyota territory at Miller Park. All week long, raising a lot of money, raising a lot of environmental awareness as we wrap up Green Week. Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Yes, we're in green jackets. Yes, we want a bowl of soup with these jackets as well. You look pretty good.
I think we're pulling it off. I think we're onto something here.
I think we should stick with it. Matter of fact, we're going to save so much energy here for our broadcast open, we're going to bring down the lights. But let's talk about Prince Fielder. As you look at our silhouettes, green with envy the rest of the league with Prince Fielder and how good he's been lately.
Yeah, we've never looked so good, and Prince Fielder has never looked better in his career. I mean, Prince Fielder's done everything for the Brewers. He and Ryan Braun have been the heart and soul of this offense, but Prince Fielder has been unbelievable. You see the numbers that Prince has been able to put up, more walks than strikeouts this year. He's hitting over 300 against left-handed pitching. That's important today with Liriano on the mound, he has been the man all season long.
Liriano against Giovanni Gallardo, a couple of guys with no-hit potential. Liriano already has a no-hitter this year. State rivals go at it once again. It's the Brewers and the Minnesota Twins coming up next. Green Week wraps up here at Miller Park.
Set a game, feel some kind of way. Yeah, it's over for you lanes. Fielders at you rockin' with that Brew Crew. We ball for a living. Hey. Doesn't pay to lose, so we're all in the winning. Hey. Prince set a game, feel some kind of way. Hey. It's over for you lanes. Fielders at the plate. Hey. Let's go Brewers, let's go.
Putting together an MVP season, Prince Fielder leads his Brewers out onto the field at Miller Park on a beautiful Saturday for baseball. The roof is open, temperatures in the 70s, and it is game 2 against Ron Gardenhire's Minnesota Twins. The Brewers try to make it back-to-back wins in this series. And here is Gardenhire's batting order today, brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Ben Revere, Alexi Casilla, Joe Mauer at the top, Michael Kadire, Delman Young, and Danny Valencia in the middle. Gardenhire has Tsuyoshi Nishioka batting 7th, Jason Repko in right field batting 8th, with Francisco Liriano rounding it out batting 9th.
And Giovanni Gallardo set to make his 17th start this year. He's lost 2 consecutive decisions. One against the Mets here at Miller Park, and the other at Boston his last time out. Got roughed up. 5 earned runs in 3 innings. Joe just wasn't himself, looking for a rebound here tonight.
Gallardo has been very good throughout his career, bouncing back from his own personal losses, not just team losses, where he's always been extra special. We'll see how Gallardo goes tonight in his home ballpark. Game's first pitch on the way to Ben Revere. It is a strike, and away we go. Dan Bellino will call the balls and strikes. John Tempane, Darryl Cousins, and Ron Kolpa on the bases. Good ball game last night. The Brewers and the Twins hooked up in a dandy. A pitcher's duel last night, won by Milwaukee 4-3. Fielder had the big hit, a 2 RBI double in the 7th inning as Revere bounces to Weeks and one away here in the first. Here's how the Brewers line up defensively tonight behind Gallardo. It's Braun, Gomez, and Hart in the outfield. Gomez, the former Twin. McGee, Betancourt, Weeks, and Fielder go around the horn with Jonathan Lucroy catching Yovani Gallardo. Lucroy's first start of this series. Last night it was Kataris leading Randy Wolf to victory. Gomez always enjoys playing against his former teams. He has 2 of them now in the Mets and the Twins. And he's back in there with the left-handed starter Francisco Liriano on the mound for Minnesota. Alexi Casilla, switch hitting second baseman, batting out of the 2-hole for Gardenhire. As Gallardo misses inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Randy Wolf picking up victory number 6 last night, beat Scott Baker. Baker 6 2/3. Wolf went 7 innings. And when he left, the Brewers were trailing.
Yeah, the big base hit, the big double by Prince Fielder with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning with a couple of men on. Another very good start by Randy Wolf, perhaps the most consistent. He and Markham have been very good just about every time out this year. A much deserved victory. Only made 1 bad pitch. That was a home run to Danny Valencia. A 3-run homer, the only runs he allowed.
Now Wolf's ERA at 3.20 with that effort last night as Casilla draws the walk. And we'll take you back to Randy Wolf's start last night. He was laboring a little bit through the first couple of innings, had 2 base runners on in each of the first 2 innings. But he settled down and really 1 bad pitch away from a spectacular night on the mound. Only a Danny Valencia 3-run homer, the blemish on Randy Wolf's card last night.
Yeah, it was the first pitch cutter, and Valencia hit it way back in left field, but he established his fastball early, and his curveball was a good pitch for him once again last night as well.
Well, Joe Mauer, coming back from the disabled list, was placed on the 60-day disabled list with bilateral leg weakness. Been nursing a sore back as well, and he is not hitting, and the Brewers are hoping that continues for at least another week. They'll see the Twins at Target Field next weekend. You figure Mauer is going to figure it out at some point, but since his return, Rock, Mauer is just 3 for 25 at the plate in 7 games.
He didn't have any rehab. I mean, you can't spend that much time, on the shelf. Just about all of spring training. Didn't play all that much during the spring and started on the disabled list. And I mean, even a guy like Joe Mauer needs a few at bats before he gets to the big league level.
Casilla, a base stealer at first. Stays put. Mauer takes a ball, and it's 1-2. Casilla has 11 stolen bases. With Mauer at the plate, he's a guy that would not be so tempted to run, but the way Mauer's going lately, not only not getting his hits, but hitting a lot of ground ball outs as well, might be tempted to run here. He's always been a good base stealer, up over 87% in his career.
Yeah, the word on Joe Mauer, he's been rolling over and a lot of fastballs away, and when Joe Mauer is on his game, he's just driving that ball in the left center. A lot of 4-3 putouts when Mauer has been at the plate lately.
So Mauer comes in batting 186. With 6 runs batted in. There goes Casilla, and a little half swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, says Ron Kopa. And Joe Mauer is a strikeout victim, out number 1 for Gallardo.
Yep, couldn't hold up on the breaking ball. The ball was down in the dirt where it should be, but because of that, Casilla makes second base easily. Clearly going across home plate with that bat, and a big out for Yovani Gallardo.
And Mauer's troubles continue at the plate. So 2 outs. Here is Michael Cuddyer. Had his 12-game hit streak snapped last night. Cuddyer was 0 for 2 with a couple of walks. A red-hot hitter, and still a hitter that the Brewers are being very careful with. And you figure Gallardo, like Wolf last night, will be careful with Cuddyer with a base open at first. He falls behind him 2-0. Cuddyer coming in batting .288. Delman Young on deck. Young had a couple of hits last night. It's a much different looking offense with the Minnesota Twins without some of their key pieces. Guys like Jason Kubel, Justin Morneau, who is going to be out another 6 weeks. He is going to need neck surgery to try to give him some relief from a bulging disc. Jim Thome on the disabled list. Denard Span suffering a concussion. Thome is finally active. We thought we'd see Thome last night. They were hoping that the big slugger would be available to start this series. He had an epidural shot in his back and wasn't able to go last night, but he is on the active roster this evening for the first time. And Gallardo content to pitch around Cuddyer. Thome be used only as a pinch hitter in this series. 7 home runs shy of that magical 600 number. And that is the all-time list. And Thome just keeps doing it. Had an amazing career.
And that's the advantage of playing these American League ball teams or clubs in the National League ballparks. You don't have to deal with the DH. Jim Thome, the big slugger, has to sit it out. No designated hitter here at Miller Park.
Well, you figure you'll see Thome as the DH when the Brewers head to Target Field next weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. And the final interleague series of the year for Milwaukee. Delman Young hitting .259, just 2 homers, 20 runs batted in. Drove in 112 last year for Minnesota. 2 for 4 last night, had a couple of singles and a run scored. It's another bat the Brewers are hoping stays cool until after the All-Star break, or at least after next weekend.
And one of the reasons that, or really the only reason that the Twins have been able to, get back into the race in the American League Central is because of their pitching. Their offense has been very inconsistent. A lot of guys on the disabled list, and many of their players up from the minor leagues, guys you've never heard of before.
That's what has given Twins fans hope in the Twin Cities. The fact that the Twins have had this amazing month of June. Minnesota has been so impressive climbing back into the American League Central Division race. They start play today 8 back of the Indians. Cleveland has already lost. They lost 1-0 to the Giants earlier today. So the Twins are right back in it. Casilla will advance as that one bounces off Lucroy. 1st and 3rd now for Minnesota, and a 2-2 count on Young.
Man, it was a very rough first inning for Gallardo against the Red Sox. Gave up 6 runs in the first inning, and seems as though Yo's a little bit out of sync here in the first tonight. That's a nice block by Lucroy. That ball bounced well in front of home plate.
Well, Gallardo needs a bounce back for sure, coming off his worst start of the season against Boston. Chased in the 4th inning, did not get it out in the 4th. At Fenway Park, went 3 innings, 8 runs, 5 earned. And now a visit to the mound from Jonathan Lucroy. A quick trip for the Brewer catcher. What's interesting about Gallardo is after his own loss in 2011, he has made 3 starts. And he is 2-0 with an ERA of 2.14. And an opponent's batting average of just 167. So he's had some of his best games following one of his losses.
Well, he had a 6-game winning streak where he was just about perfect every time out. Right, nobody could continue that pace. He was lights out for a good stretch in that 6-game winning streak, but it was mentioned he's lost his last 2 decisions.
Delman Young hanging tough. 2-2, runners at the corners in the first inning. And a little tapper foul. Gallardo can't shake him. Right now in the National League, 9 wins, leads the league. There are multiple players who have won 9. Daniel Hudson of the Diamondbacks, Jair Jurgens of the Braves. Got a couple of Phillies in there, Cole Hamels and Roy Halladay. And the Pirates' Kevin Correa. Gallardo could join that group with a victory here tonight. Young gets sawed off. Betancourt will go the easy way, and the inning is over. A lot of pitches, but a scoreless first. Brewers coming to bat against Francisco Liriano. Roof is open. A great night for baseball. The Twins come up empty in the first despite a couple of walks, and now the Brewers will go at it against Francisco Liriano. Batting order brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Weeks, Hart, and Braun at the top. Fielder, McGee, and Betancourt in the middle. Ron Renicky has Lucroy, Gomez, and Gallardo rounding it out. And Francisco Liriano on the mound for the Minnesota Twins, the 27-year-old left-hander, making his 13th start of the season. That one complete game you see was a no-hitter earlier this year at the beginning of May. His first and only complete game of his career, partner.
Yeah, 123 pitches. He's 6'3", 230 pounds, out of the Dominican Republic. A 4.59 earned run average, a bit deceiving. He's been throwing the baseball very well. He had an earned run average over 9 when the month of May began.
Ricky Weeks leads off. He'll be followed by Cory Hart, then Ryan Braun. Bit of a shift in the lineup tonight with the left-handed starter. You've got Hart in the 2-hole and Gomez in the lineup in center field. Nigel Morgan starts the game on the bench. As Weeks takes strike 2. Ricky coming in batting .290. Has 14 homers, 32 driven in, an on-base percentage of .360 to start play today.
Yeah, certainly one of the top leadoff hitters in all of baseball with the numbers that he throws up there.
Here's how the Twins line up defensively behind Liriano. Delman Young, Ben Revere, and Jason Repko in the outfield. Danny Valencia, Tsuyoshi Nishioka, Alexi Casilla, and Michael Kadire go around the horn with Joe Mauer catching. Kadire started in right field last night with the right-handed starter on the mound. He's back at first base, giving Repko an opportunity. See what Weeks has been able to do. His last 10 games, a batting average of.372. Continues to be one of the big power threats in the National League from the leadoff spot and from the second base position. Shoots one over to second. Casilla will make the play for out number 1. Our Nissan keys tonight on Francisco Liriano comes from hitting coach Dale Swain.
And he's got a good fastball, anywhere from 90 to 94. Stays at pretty much 91, 92 though, but he pretty much lives off his off-speed pitches. He doesn't like to get beat with his fastball too much. Keeps it away. He's going to be fastball, slider, changeup. His slider is basically his out pitch.
Kind of like a CC Sabathia type, maybe a poor man CC Sabathia. When he first came up, he and Johan Santana were two big guns in that Minnesota starting rotation, but Liriano had Tommy John surgery in November of '06. Doesn't have near the velocity. Mentioned he got off to a terrible start this year. The month of April, a 9.13 earned run average. Since that time, an earned run average at 2.20. That covers his last 7 starts.
Now Cory Hart back in his comfortable 2 spot in the batting order, hitting in front of Ryan Braun. Hart had a big hit last night, an RBI single. Was 1 for 3. RBIs last night coming from Hart, Braun, and 2 from Fielder, and the 2 from Fielder coming in the 7th inning with the Brewers down a run. Prince put the Brewers on top in a lead they would not give up. The bullpen was locked down terrific last night. 6 up, 6 down from Lowe and Axford as Liriano strikes out Cory Hart, out number 2. So the base is empty, 2 gone for Ryan Braun, who is riding a career best 15-game hitting streak. It's interesting that Braun says he's not even feeling that good at the plate, but he's been able to manage at least 1 hit a day for the last 15 days. It is his 3rd streak of 10 or more games this season.
And he got that big hit on a fastball up and away, a little bit behind it, but still has enough leverage to be able to knock it out of here. One hopped it over the right field fence to drive in a run. The Brewers with 3 hits last night with runners in scoring position, all 3 doubles, and all 3 to score runs.
See, Braun, the only player in the major leagues this year to have a hitting streak of at least 10 games or 11 games. In April, had an 11-game hit streak. In the 2nd and 3rd week of May, put a 13-game hitting streak together, and now he's at 15 in a row. And you add them all together, and Brian Braun batting .309 to start play today, inside the top 10 in the league in hitting. On the corner, a called strike.
Back-to-back fastballs, and one thing that Dale Swain did not share is the fact that most of Liriano's fastballs are going to be away. He tried to throw some 2-seam fastballs earlier this year, but pretty much scrapped that idea. It's mostly 4-seamers.
And he strikes out Ryan Braun. Took a little off. Back-to-back strikeouts. We head to the 2nd inning. The Twins coming up, no score. last Monday night, to kick off this Green Week celebration, the Brewers Community Foundation presented a $65,000 check to the Urban Ecology Center. The center has 2 locations in Milwaukee, and it is an environmental education organization whose mission includes protecting and using public natural areas and providing outdoor science education for urban youth. And that kicked off a great week of environmental awareness here during Green Week, which is why we are sporting the green sport coats. Not exactly at this moment, but in our opens today.
You pulled that off well, partner. I think you look good in it.
A lot of stress over how to put the ensemble together. And he got the memo. A lot of green in the ballpark today. Quickly, 0-2 for Gallardo against Valencia. Valencia homered yesterday. Jumped on the first pitch from Randy Wolf, hit a 3-run home run. And just like that, the Twins took the lead yesterday. And Wolf thought his ball game was headed down the drain until fielders heroics as Gallardo punches out Valencia. Got the corner. And strikeout number 2 for Giovanni Gallardo.
Well, finding the corners and keeping the ball down was a problem for Gallardo in that start against the Red Sox. Everything seemed to be up down the middle of the plate. The fastball, the breaking pitch, just couldn't seem to get anything going. But so far today, that pitch right there, right on the outside corner, Valencia watches it go by.
Gallardo with a couple of walks in the first inning. Was challenging Alexi Casilla, lost him, and then I think he was pitching around Kadire to get to Delman Young, who he finally retired. Tsuyoshi Nishioka for the Minnesota Twins, switch hitting shortstop. Missed a good part of the season with a fractured fibula, trying to turn a double play. Just returned on the 15th of June. He was out in early April. But since his return, much like Joe Mauer, Nishioka not hitting, just 3 for 25 at the plate as a left-handed batter.
Man, Randy Wolf did not make him look very good in last night's ball game. Waving at fastballs, was way out in front of the breaking pitch. Looks like his timing is off just a bit.
Little bouncer out to Betancourt, and he makes a play for out number 2.
On Friday, July 8th, fans 21 and older can sample craft beer from Leinenkugel's with the purchase of a $36 club outfield ticket in select sections. Call 414-902-4641 or visit brewers.com/brews.
2 gone for Gallardo, and here is Jason Repko in the game in right field tonight. Another struggling hitter in this Twins lineup. Repko just 10 for 54 this year. No homers, 6 RBIs. His batting average coming in 185. Bouncer, Betancourt knocks it down. No chance to make a play here as Repko beats out an infield hit. Good stop from Betancourt. Might have hurt himself on the dive. A little awkward plant.
Yeah, really no chance for Betancourt to make any kind of a throw. Repko runs pretty well. Not a speed burner, but you can see the problems that Betancourt had getting up back on his feet. If you don't get up right away and get a throw off very quickly, no chance. So he did the right thing and held on to it.
And here is Francisco Liriano. The Twins will clear their pitcher. Liriano has a hit this year. 1 for 2. Obviously, American League pitchers only get an opportunity to hit in National League ballparks during interleague play. The Twins played the Giants in interleague play earlier this week. They dropped 2 out of 3 to San Francisco. It was the Padres before that. Minnesota's interleague record is now 4-6. They actually swept San Diego in the second round of interleague play. They got swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks back in late May.
Another good block by Luke behind home plate. Boy, he's been like a cat behind home plate. It's been about a month now. He has been just lock solid to blocking pitches in the dirt, and some of them are tough ones. That one's not easy right there. See the way he's able to square his shoulders and keep it right in front of him.
2-2 to Liriano. Takes ball 3. Liriano probably says something to Dan Bellino like, if you wanted to call that, that would have been all right. Yeah. I'll take that one.
Yeah, as long as I get it when I'm pitching.
Shows a good eye. Now the count is full. Repko starts with the pitch, and Gallardo missed. So Liriano draws the walk, and this inning is extended now. Back to the top of the order, 2 on, and Rick Kranitz can't watch anymore.
Well, I'm not sure why he had to be so fine with Liriano at the plate. And it looked as though Yo is trying to catch the outer half of the plate. Lucroy wasn't set up right on the corner, but Giovanni missed away. You can't let that happen. That was an American League pitcher up there.
All right, so back to the top of the order, Ben Revere. Now first and second, and again the Twins with 2 on. See if Gallardo can get through this second inning, much like Randy Wolf did last night. Slapper off the glove of Betancourt. Here comes Repko. Here comes the throw from Braun. It's late, and the Twins are on the board. If Betancourt knocks it down, he'll save a run. Unlikely he's going to throw out Revere, but because he couldn't get it in the glove, the Twins able to score, and it's 1-0.
Yep, 2 outs, nobody on, an infield hit, a walk to the pitcher, and it never fails. You walk the opposing pitcher, and you got to believe something bad's going to happen. A base hit by Revere on the first pitch. Took a little bit of a funny hop on Betancourt. If he knocks it down, you're right. The runner has to stay at third.
Instead, the Twins score. They get a rally with 2 away, and now it's Casilla. A lot of extra pitches here for Gallardo. Two on, 2 out. Casilla back up the middle. Gallardo's got it. And the inning is over. But tonight it is the Twins who strike first. And we head to the bottom of the second. Prince fielder Casey McGee, Yudesky Betancourt will bat. Well, you never know how the season's going to end, but as of right now, as of June 25th, we are witnessing something special with Braun and Fielder. Only Gonzalez and Youkilis with more RBIs as a tandem in all of baseball. Braun and Fielder, of course, lead the National League. And Rock starting to put together the kind of seasons as a tandem that years from now you'll say, I was there, I was able to watch them win.
Yeah, so the idea is that the bottom line is enjoy it, as it's happening, because it's very rare on any ball club where two guys back to back in the batting order, potentially having career seasons. That's not something you see very often.
Prince by far having his best season, his best start to a season. Hitting .307, just outside the top 10, has 20 homers, 65 runs batted in. That one's hit well to right. Not well enough. Repko makes a catch. And Fielder is retired. One away in the inning.
I've got that one a little bit on the trademark. Fastball by Liriano in on his hands. Just missed it.
Well, Liriano with a couple of strikeouts in the first inning and has retired the first 4 in this game. It has been an up and down roller coaster ride for Twins fans concerning Francisco Liriano. Rock mentioned the Tommy John surgery. Liriano missed all of 2007, had a long road back, but pitched well, earned his way back. He was the opening day starter in 2009. Had a dismal year, 5-13, an ERA near 6. Opened as the number 5 starter by the skin of his teeth the next season. Put together a pretty good year. As McGee goes into center field, and Revere runs it down for out number 2.
Yeah, 2010 for Liriano. He was 14-10 with a 3.62 earned run average. Had a terrible start to his season this year. We talked about it. His April numbers, 1-4. And a 9.13 earned run average. He had given up 24 earned runs in 23 2/3 innings in April. Then his first start in May, he threw his no-hitter, and he's been pretty good since.
Yuniesky Betancourt with 2 away. Liriano has been a strikeout pitcher throughout his career. As a matter of fact, last year, only John Lester with more strikeouts in the American League by a left-handed pitcher. And Liriano was 5th in the American League overall. He struck out over 200 batters a season ago, despite 191 innings. More strikeouts than innings pitched. Only 58 walks last season. Betancourt off the end of the bat and a base hit. And Betancourt on his way to second base. The throw in plenty of time, and the Brewers run themselves out of an inning perhaps. Betancourt never slowed down. And he was easy pickings at second, trying to stretch it into a double.
Teddy Werner, the Brewers Senior Director of Business Operations. He has his green shirt on. I've got my green jacket on. Teddy, Green Week, a week devoted to sustainability, a busy week and a successful week.
It's been a great week. It's wonderful seeing you in a green jacket. We've had an event every day of the week. The highlights on Tuesday, we had an e-waste event and collected over 40,000 pounds of electronic waste. Wednesday, we announced our Root for the Brewers Plant a Tree program. We're going to be planting about 150 trees along the Hank Aaron State Trail at the conclusion of the year. Thursday, we had an employee event. We had 50 employees out on the Hank Aaron State Trail cleaning up trash and removing invasive species. And tomorrow, we're going to conclude the week with a Bike to the Ballpark event and hope to attract several hundred people from the community.
Green Week ends tomorrow, but this club is dedicated to renewable energy 365 days a year.
Yep, we've ratcheted up our sustainability efforts at the ballpark. We obviously on game days are big days, but everything from water to waste to energy conservation. We're doing our part to really it's a social responsibility, and also it really adds to the life of the ballpark. The more sustainable we are, the longer lasting Miller Park is, and everybody really benefits.
And Brewer fans really have bought into this concept.
Yeah, they have. I think the e-waste event was indicative of that. We're excited about tomorrow, and this is really something that we're gonna grow on. Hopefully next year we might even have a game where we're wearing green uniforms.
Teddy, thanks. BA Rock, back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you. As Joe Mauer, a ringing single back up the middle. And the Twins with a leadoff base runner, thanks to Teddy Werner. Great idea. See Mauer go right back up the middle, one of the hardest hit balls he's had since returning from the disabled list.
Yeah, got a little bit too much of the plate up in the strike zone. That was the issue that Gallardo had in Boston. Too much of the plate with a fastball, and Joe Mauer banged it right back through the middle.
Will you be riding your bike to the ballpark tomorrow, Rock?
I have a bike.
Yeah, right.
I do.
What is hanging on your bike right now?
Actually, my bike is hanging in the garage, and it's all dusty. But I do have one. I have to put some air in the tires.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would, but you know how I sweat. I mean, I'm not going to show up to the ballpark, get ready for a broadcast, all overheated.
He is a sweater. That's why we had to kill the lights today.
That's right. That's our best side, the dark side, right?
That's right. 0-2 to Michael Kadire. And he strikes him out. Gallardo goes up the ladder. Kadire chased. Strikeout number 3 for Gallardo. First out of the third inning.
Well, just trying to waste one up in the zone, and very rare that Kadire is going to go after that pitch. Tough to get a piece of a pitch up that high in the zone.
So one away, and here's Delman Young now. Mauer at first. Pretty good breaking ball. Gallardo not sharp through the first 2 innings. Had a chance at a clean second inning, gave up an infield hit, then he walked the pitcher Liriano, followed by Ben Revere single and an RBI to left field. Chance for 2 here. Ricky Weeks, Betancourt, fielder. 4-6-3 double play and a nice quick inning, much needed for Gallardo. Sports Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Subway. Try our $5 featured foot long of the month. Subway, where winners eat. Beautiful Miller Park on a Saturday night. They said their I do's and their I brews. Yeah, we've seen a lot of proclamations here today by the Milwaukee Brewers fans. It was a big sign on the scoreboard. It's a good way to ask your hand in marriage. You know, put it up on the scoreboard.
But if you do that, you better know the answer to the question.
Yeah, you don't want to get embarrassed in front of 42,000.
Yeah, that's not good.
Jonathan Lucroy leads off. Lucroy, Gomez, and Gallardo as Lucroy into left field. And that is going to fall, a base hit. Young got a late start. Remember, the Twins played very deep in the outfield, and Lucroy able to reach on a single. This past Tuesday, as part of this week's Green Week celebration, the Milwaukee Brewers, along with Waste Management, collected 40,000 pounds of household items and unwanted or unused computer and electronic equipment. In return, 500 fans received a buy one, get one free Brewers ticket. Teddy Werner's going to need a vacation after this week.
Yeah, lifting up those monitors. That looks like the monitors I have in my basement.
Right next to your bike.
Right next to the bike.
It's been a great week, and we're certainly happy to support environmental awareness. Carlos Gomez with a runner on.
He's had good success against Minnesota, batting average over 300. Hopefully that continues tonight. Brewers need some production at the bottom of their order. Got to get something going. It's been very inconsistent once you get past Prince Fielder in that batting order. Ron Renneke trying to move guys around in that batting order, trying to find different pieces to fit in. Of course, you can say that about most lineups in baseball.
Well, Gomez was a Twin in 08 and 09. His playing time has come few and far between here lately, playing only against left-handed starting pitching. Nigel Morgan getting most of the playing time, and the platoon. Ron Renneke still not comfortable calling it a platoon, but that's basically what it is. Gomez went to the Twins from the Mets. He was part of that Johan Santana deal, and then he came to the Brewers in a trade for J.J. Hardy. He scored one of the biggest runs in Twins history. It is up there among some of the most memorable moments at the Metrodome. Back in 2009, scored the run that sent the Twins to the postseason in that one-game playoff.
I just wish he could be a little bit more consistent at the plate. You'd love to see the Carlos Gomez that we saw in spring training this year.
Gomez into left field. That ball's well hit. That one's got a chance to go. And it's gone! Carlos Gomez, the Twins killer. A two-run homer, and the Brewers have the lead in the third inning.
Hey, that's the guy we saw in spring training. Yeah, waited back nicely on a changeup. And took Liriano out of the ballpark. Liriano doesn't give up many. He's only given up 6, now 7 home runs. And there you see that ball in on Gomez, and he loves the ball in on him. And he knew it was gone. That gives the Brewers a 1-run lead.
As Gallardo swings away the first pitch. As Carlos Gomez belts his first home run since May 30th. He homered in Cincinnati.
The new look Carlos Gomez. Got the cornrows going.
Yeah. I walked in the clubhouse the other day, and it's all tightened down right now. Carlos Gomez had one of the biggest afros I've ever seen. I mean, it was
Unbelievable. So that's the new look. That took some doing, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that yourself. He had help with that.
You're like Dr. J back in the ABA days.
I'm not even sure that Mark DeFelice could help him with that. He's the resident barber for the Brewers.
That's a big home run. It's got to feel great for Gomez. He homered against the Twins in Minneapolis last year at Target Field. Gets the start today and takes his buddy Liriano deep. Gallardo in a 2-2 count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Gallardo is such a good hitter. He is a threat at the plate and a big advantage for Milwaukee to have Gallardo hitting. And Liriano on the other side, a disadvantage for the Twins, even though he drew a walk his last time up. Gallardo has 9 career home runs, the most by a pitcher in franchise history. One of those home runs coming this year. In the right. Got a little bit of travel to it, but Repko is there for the out. First out of the 3rd inning. And let's take you back to the Carlos Gomez home run against Liriano.
Yep, down and in. It looked as though he got it just a little bit down on the trademark. Didn't get it on the sweet spot, but Gomez with that very aggressive hack and able to get it in the first row of the 2nd deck.
Carlos Gomez safe at home, safe and secure. New York life.
You cannot throw the ball too far inside for Gomez to get a piece of it. I mean, we've seen him hit balls pretty hard down the left field line. It looked as though they're going to hit him.
Well, 1 gone for Ricky Weeks. Weeks grounded out in the 1st inning, bounced out to 2nd base. And there's strike 2 on Weeks. Liriano quickly ahead of him. Last night, Weeks with 2 hits. He was on base all 4 times. 2 for 3 with a walk. Reached on a fielder's choice as well. Voting at the ballpark wrapped up yesterday for the All-Star game. But we are encouraging you to continue to vote online at Brewers.com. You can vote 25 times per email account. Ricky Weeks is closing in on Brandon Phillips. He is the deserving starter at the All-Star game based on numbers. Phillips a better defender than Weeks. But Ricky has made his fair share of defensive gems this season, and he is putting up gaudy numbers from the 2nd base position.
Yeah, Ricky's been solid defensively.
Bouncer picked up by Valencia. High throw goes into the stands. And Ricky Weeks on his way to 2nd base. The normally sure-handed Minnesota Twins with an error with 1 away. And it is a 2-base error that will allow Weeks to 2nd.
You know, although they have been better lately defensively, they're just about near the bottom in the American League in total defense. That's their 52nd error this year. Only Oakland and Texas have more in the American League. That'll be a 2-base error.
It's hard to figure. And for Ron Gardenhire, who is such a stickler, much like Ron Rinicky, about defensive execution, has to be very troubling for the Twins manager. Not only is it an error that gets a speedy runner aboard, but it puts him into scoring position. Now Cory Hart.
Actually, the scoring is a hit and an error. It would have been a tough play. Of course, that's a play that a 3rd baseman's got to be able to make in the major leagues. A 2-hopper.
So the Brewers with 4 hits now, 3 in this inning. And the Twins with their first error. Not a 2-base error. Just 1 base allowing Weeks to 2nd as that one goes into the stands.
Well, you have a lot of moving pieces in this Minnesota Twins infield. Guys on the disabled list, guys coming up from the minor leagues, moving players around, and you don't have that continuity defensively. That's when your errors are going to pop up.
Liriano with a good changeup early tonight. Used it effectively. Struck out Braun with a changeup in the first inning. As Hart stays alive. Cory Hart back in the 2-hole, hitting .269 to start play today with 7 homers, 21 driven in. Showing off his table tennis skills earlier today. Brewers welcomed in a group from China, the Chinese champions. And Hart matched up against a 4-time gold medal winner in table tennis, Yang Yining. She was very impressive.
Yeah.
She was just kind of toying with Cory Hart and John Axford. And then when she got serious, it was over. And as Hart takes ball 4, nicely done. Good at bat. Also, maybe a little pregame table tennis, a little competition against a gold medal winner. Got him fired up.
And she's just getting loose. I mean, she's just messing around. Cory Hart with a nice slam right there. But, yeah, when the score got a little bit close, there was no doubt as to who was the champion on that table tennis board. Guys had a good time with it, though.
That was great fun. And Zach Greinke even got into the mix. Greinke playing a little defense before he just got barbecued by Yang Yining.
Now, have you seen the table tennis competition in the Olympics?
Yeah.
I mean, these
Nothing
men
like that.
No, these men and women are like 10 feet behind the table, right? I mean, slamming the ball. She was just kind of going back and forth like you and I would, until it got a little bit close. And
she was very polite, but all of Cory Hart's, John Axford's teammates were encouraging her to do a little more, and so she finally did. And boy, she really showed her skills. It was great having them here, and part of an exchange program at the University of Wisconsin. Ron Renicky spoke and was welcoming to all of our friends from China. Great athletes, all of them.
Yeah.
So they're here at the ballpark today enjoying the game.
They had an Olympic diver there.
Well, 2 on, a visit to the mound with Liriano. And now Ryan Braun, a chance for the Brewers to add to it. Carlos Gomez with a 2-run homer has Milwaukee on top. And Braun goes into right center. A base hit. Here comes Weeks, and he will score. It's bobbled in center field. And now Hart will try to score. The throw, no throw. Hart scores. 2 runs are in.
Another error.
Ryan Braun extends his hitting streak to 16 games. Picks up an RBI.
Well, he'll get 1 RBI, and the other run going to score on an E8. Ben Revere not able to handle it. Well, they play deep to make sure that the slugging percentage for the Brewers is minimized. That one goes right under the glove, right through the legs, and because of that, Braun ends up at second, and Cory Hart scores.
Braun credited with the RBI on Weeks, and Hart scores on the air. 4-1 Milwaukee. 4 runs in on 4 hits and 2 Minnesota errors.
But how about the approach to Ryan Braun? I mean, that changeup going away from him. We all know how well he covers both sides of the plate. Just sticks that bat out there and hits a line drive into center. It is much easier. Well, I should say he makes it a lot easier than it actually is. I mean, he really does make it look easy.
Braun struck out on a changeup in the first inning. That same changeup, next time around, he shoots one into the gap in right center. Still just 1 out. And Mauer wants to visit with Liriano.
Brewers making some very nice adjustments in this game. I mean, really making an adjustment to change up. We haven't seen too many of the Liriano power sliders in this game. It's been fastball, changeup.
Got a base open at first. We'll see how aggressive Liriano wants to be on Prince Fielder. Twins challenged him last night. He made him pay. Just missed one there, and Fielder fouls it away.
You know, interesting that Liriano moves from, you know, one side of the pitching rubber with a right-hander up. He's on the third base side of the rubber. You can see with Prince Fielder, he's on the first base side of the rubber, giving him a better angle with his breaking ball to Prince. You don't see many guys do that. It's like a batter moving around in the batter's box. You know, pitchers like one side or the other of the pitching rubber, but Liriano moves around a little bit.
He strikes out Prince Fielder. Good pitch. So the second out of the inning, Liriano picks up his third strikeout.
Now maybe that's why. Look at the slider, the angle that he gets to a left-handed batter. It starts right at the hip, ends up right off the outside corner. That's the best breaking pitch that he's thrown tonight.
The philosophy makes sense, but what kind of adjustment is it for a pitcher to have to change sides like that? I mean, everything has to look different when you move from one side of the pitching rubber to the other.
Yeah, I mean, within a game, within hitters, I'm not sure. I've never actually done it, but I would imagine, you know, it's kind of similar to a hitter moving around in the batter's box based on a lefty and a right-handed pitcher. And you know, guys used to do that 20 years ago quite a bit. Depends on, you know, what kind of a pitcher was out there. You get a soft throw, you move up a little bit. You get a guy like Nolan Ryan, you move back and deep in the box, give yourself as much time. But guys are very, very stubborn in that batter's box these days, and so are pitchers where they put their foot on the pitching rubber. You know, when guys are struggling a little bit, they'll move from one side or the other, but they'll stay there for everybody. Remember last year the Brewers pitching staff was big on trying to make adjustments moving on the rubber.
Yeah.
Not so much this year.
If it wasn't working, just go to the other side was the general consensus. Rick Kranitz not so much into that as a remedy. Braun out at second, the 1-2. McGee shoots one to right, a base hit. Here comes Braun, and he will score. Casey McGee just serves one into right field like a tennis backhand. With Wimbledon underway this week. Nicely done. Casey McGee picks up an RBI.
Yeah, it didn't even look like a strike. And you can see the Brewers really concentrating on the outer half of the plate. Liriano really not willing to throw the slider to the right-handers. You see that pitch about 2-3 inches off the outside corner. Casey leaning over the plate all the way, looking for something on the outer half, whether it be fastball or changeup, and able to punch it down the right field line.
Well, McGee would love to get going at the plate. He knows it has been a long time coming. He's shown signs lately. Had a good week last week. And drives in a run here in the third inning. The Brewers have put 5 runs on the board against Liriano and the Twins, and it's 5-1. All started with a Carlos Gomez 2-run homer. Now Betancourt, the 9th batter of the inning. That is a crooked number the Brewers have been waiting for. A 5-run inning.
And all started by the bottom of the order. You love to see that.
And just as you were pointing out, when the bottom of the order is productive, getting their hits, getting on base, it can change the complexion of the game because it puts the best hitters at the plate typically with men on, and that means Ricky Weeks to start at the top of the batting order. Five runs on 6 hits thus far. 5 of the 6 hits coming in this inning. Twins have committed 2 errors. None of the errors affecting the earned runs at this point on Liriano. The 2-2. Betancourt just stays alive.
Yep, the error is certainly contributing to perhaps Liriano's approach up there on the mound. I mean, you don't make those errors. You have double plays that are in order. You know, the bad throw from third base, and you get a guy at second instead of first. Ball goes through the center fielder's legs instead of a guy at first. There's a man at second.
That's the one part of official scoring that you can't reconcile. The mental approach in different scenarios. You go through the book and you say, okay, well, he would have advanced a second on that hit. He would have scored on that hit. Makes all the runs earned. But certainly when you have a runner at second base, more pressure on a pitcher with runners in scoring position. Two balls, two strikes on Betancourt. Casey McGee over at first. Count stays at 2-2, and the pitch count continues to rise for Liriano.
Yeah, 65 pitches, and most of them in this inning. Got through the first two innings facing the minimum.
Bouncing ball to Valencia. And he makes a play. Betancourt retired. The Brewers bring 9 men to the plate. They score 5 runs. The first 2, a home run by Carlos Gomez, the former Twin.
Part to that man, Carlos Gomez. Game reset, second inning. Ben Revere, a bullet past Betancourt. Jason Repko scored to make it 1-0. But Milwaukee with an answer in the third. Gomez against his former teammate into the second deck. 2-run shot. Ryan Braun with a base hit, extending his hit streak to 16 games. Revere kicks it, 2-run score, 4-1, and then Casey McGee punches it to right. 5 runs in the third for Milwaukee. Carlos and Casey struggling guys, but big hits tonight.
Yeah, big ones indeed. And the Brewers up by 4 with Gallardo on the mound, and Francisco Liriano still trying to figure out what happened in the Twins dugout.
It's been a while since Liriano's given up 5 runs in a game, let alone in an inning.
One hopper right to Gallardo. Valencia retired. Good glove out there by the Brewer pitcher. 1 out in the 4th inning for the Twins. Nishioka coming up. And our AT&T trivia tonight named the 3 first basemen who have beaten out Albert Pujols at first base in the last 7 NL All-Star votes. So on 3 occasions it has happened. Pujols has been the king of that award. And that distinction Pujols still the leading vote getter, even though he is out with an injury. Broke a bone in his forearm, and Pujols will not be available, not be able to return by the All-Star game. Figure Joey Votto, last year's MVP, and Prince Fielder will be there. Ryan Howard's having another big year for the Philadelphia Phillies. It's funny that Adrian Gonzalez, playing for the San Diego Padres, always had to fight and scratch his way to try to earn some, earn a moniker out in San Diego as one of the best first basemen. We all knew it, those who have seen him play, fans not necessarily recognizing that in the All-Star voting. Now all of a sudden he goes to Boston and he's an MVP candidate.
And the different coasts, right?
Nishioka out to Betancourt. Nicely done. Out number 2.
Hey, Sundays are now Blue Bunny Ice Cream Sundays on each Sunday home game. The first 2,000 kids 12 and under entering Miller Park will get a free Blue Bunny ice cream, compliments of Blue Bunny. Yeah, most of the country, when Adrian Gonzalez was doing his thing with the Padres, everybody in bed, particularly on the East Coast. You don't get a whole lot of recognition out there, except of course if you're a Barry Bonds type.
But the spotlight is shining brightly on Agon right now in Boston. What a hitter. Leading all of baseball in runs batted in, and he'll be in Phoenix for the All-Star game as well. That is just the inning Gallardo was looking for. 3 up and 3 down after the Brewers get him 5. Of the 4th this past Wednesday as part of Green Week, the Milwaukee Brewers, along with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, purchased trees to be planted along the Hank Aaron State Trail and also distributed 7,500 spruce seedlings to fans as they exited the game on Wednesday. During the past 100 years, as Luke Roy takes a strike, I want to let you know about this, Rob. The Wisconsin State Nurseries have produced more than 1.5 billion
trees, yeah,
tree seedling to help reduce soil erosion.
That's great.
So that's what we've been doing this week. Nice play over at first base. Michael Kadire gets Luke Roy. And one away here in the 4th inning. Well, Carlos Gomez getting into the act, belting his 5th home run of the season. A 2-run homer that gave the Brewers the lead, and it started a 5-run inning. Powerball home run number 5 for Carlos Gomez. His career high came as a Twin back in 2008, had 7 homers. And to date, that has been his best season as a big leaguer. His first year in Minnesota as a 22-year-old outfielder with a lot on him coming over in the deal with Johan Santana. Gomez hit .258 that year, had 7 homers, He stole 33 bases that season.
I mean, he's such a threat offensively when he's able to get on base, but that's the key. And Carlos Gomez would not be the first, nor will he be the last that you could say that about. You just got to figure out a way to get on first base, because when he does, he can make things happen.
He is one of the few guys around baseball that when he homers, hitting coaches get nervous. His own hitting coach. Usually when a guy goes deep, you're thinking, all right, maybe he's back. But Dale Swain gets concerned when Gomez hits one out of the ballpark.
Doesn't even like it in batting practice.
And he has a sharp eye on Gomez right now. I'm sure there was some kind of conversation from his last at bat to this one about reminding Carlos to stay through the middle.
Well, Liriano made a mistake inside. I doubt he's going to do that again. So Gomez has got to be thinking away, which means Dale's probably telling him to go to right center.
And a shot back up the middle. That is a thing of beauty. So Gomez with a 1-out single. And that's got to make Dale Swain feel pretty good about things.
And another mistake, this time a fastball right down the middle, and Gomez almost knocking one right off of Liriano. Right back through the middle, and that's a beautiful swing. That's what we saw from Gomez all spring. Spring training, he did that just about every day. And if he can do that, he can make a big difference in this offense.
That short, compact swing. And with his speed, if he thinks up the middle, as Dale always mentions, he's going to be able to hit for power. Gomez has enough bat speed and the power in his bat to hit home runs on mistakes like he did with Liriano his first time up. But if he thinks to the opposite field, even when he puts the ball on the ground, he's so fast. He's going to be able to leg out a number of ground balls. It's going to raise his batting average, his on base percentage.
You say that about every hitter in all of baseball. Look away, react in. That's the natural instinct, to pull the ball. When you're quick inside, you look away, you can react inside. Every hitter can do that, but you can't do it the other way around. You can always speed your bat up. You can't slow it down. If you're looking inside and you're looking to start early, there's no way you're going to be able to get to a pitch away.
Gallardo up there to bunt, and he takes a strike. And this is where Gomez can really disrupt the action on the base paths. He has 15 stolen bases this year. He's only been caught once. Gallardo squares early. And he swings away, and a base hit to left. Gomez on his way to third. No throw. How about that? Carlos Gomez goes first to third on a base hit to left.
And a good job by Gallardo. The idea is the fake bunt and slash. The butcher boy, you got to get it on the ground, and that's exactly what Gallardo did. Couldn't have put it in a better spot. Beat it into the ground, one hop into left field, and that's exactly what you want to do. It really doesn't help you if you put that ball in the air. You chop down on it, and you can see where the third baseman Valencia was, and he has no chance. And look at Gomez go. He can cut the bag as well as anybody in all of baseball.
It is fun to watch. Gomez ends up at third base. Delman Young didn't even bother with a throw. Now runners at the corners for Ricky Weeks. Just one out, and Weeks takes a fastball strike. So Carlos Gomez has been the thorn in the side of the Twins tonight. 2 hits, giving Milwaukee another opportunity at a big inning. Right back in there, misses a little bit, and it's 1-1. Weeks reached on an infield hit his last time up. Ended up at second on a throwing error from Valencia. Back in there, another one in off the plate, and it's 2-1. Liriano is on the ropes here. Bullpen is active. 78 pitches, and only 1 out in the 4th inning. Liriano has already given up 8 hits through 3 1/3, which ties a season high this year. Gave up 8 hits on 2 other occasions.
Kansas City and San Diego, his last start, gave up 8 hits.
Those aren't the 2 teams that come to mind when you think about big production. Weeks into shallow right center. Going to be caught by Casilla, and Gomez will score easily. So a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Ricky Weeks, and it is now 6-1 Milwaukee.
Well, not often you see a sacrifice fly to the second baseman, but you can see how far Casilla has to go back, and there's no way with his momentum going that far. And again, the depth of the outfielders for the Minnesota Twins have cost him a run here. And Gomez can crawl home.
Now Cory Hart with 2 away, and that one is ripped down the line, foul. Well, the Twins have their reasons for the deep outfield, and it has hurt the Brewers in the past. There have been a number of occasions where you see a ball going a gap or down a line, and you look up and there's an outfielder cutting it off, preventing a run. But in this series already, on a number of occasions, it has either led to runs or given the Brewers some cheap hits that have fallen in. Puts a lot of pressure on the infielders, you would think, especially the middle infielders.
Yeah, they have to be able to go back and go back deep into the outfield like Casilla just did.
Ball and 2 strikes on Cory Hart. A changeup missed. Hart walked and scored in the 3rd inning. Liriano struck him out in the 1st. Liriano started this game by retiring the first 5 hitters with 2 strikeouts. And it has been messy for him ever since.
And you really have to credit the Brewers' approach and the adjustments that they've been able to make. You know, knowing that Liriano's not going to come inside with anything in this game. He really hasn't used that power slider that we had anticipated. Everything's away. You know, and you can take away half of the plate. It makes hitting much easier. Not easy, but a little bit easier.
Well, that's going to do it for Liriano. Ron Gardenhire has seen enough. So a double switch coming up. Liriano is going to have a short night at Miller Park. And he leaves down 6-1. The Brewers threatening with 2 away. A pitching change will set up the new hurler when we come back. And just 5 of the big crowd here today. The sellout crowd at Miller Park. Boy, it is jam-packed here tonight. Scaring all the children. Carsoup.com email the booth question as Liriano exits. Why are left-handed pitchers called southpaws? Jeff in Sturgeon Bay wants to know.
There's been some tough Carsoup.com email the booth questions this year, and this is one of them. But what is generally accepted, with respect to the term, ballparks are often designed so that the batter is facing east to avoid the afternoon or evening sun shining in their eyes while they're at the plate. And that means that left-handed pitchers are throwing from the south side, right? Their arm is to the south. Now, Miller Park is facing southeast, so a left-hander would actually be facing more southwest, right? But if it's directly east and they're standing there, their arm is on the south
side. I get it.
Right.
Southpaw. But
right.
Here at Miller Park, it's more like a southwest paw.
Southwest paw.
Okay. Well, here's a north paw here. In Anthony Swarzak coming in on the double switch. New shortstop is Tolbert, and Swarzak takes over with his club trailing 6-1. Matt Tolbert will lead off the 5th inning for Minnesota. Braun a chance to open it up. Braun with an RBI single his last time up in the 3rd. He eventually scored a run. And now with a 16-game hitting streak. The longest of his career. It's the longest active streak in baseball.
Right.
Andre Ethier has the longest hitting streak in baseball this year. 30 games for the Dodgers from early April to early May.
Now, Braun is the kind of a guy that can put together a very long hitting streak because there's no one way to pitch him. You got to pretty much play him straight away because he can pull the ball. If you pitch him in, he can go right down that right field line. If you pitch him away, and even if you don't throw him strikes, he can hit the ball hard. Those are hitters that are very tough to defend.
Bouncing ball to Tolbert just into the game, and he'll make the play for the out. The inning is over. So the Brewers strand a pair, but they get a run, and they lead 6-1 as we go to the 5th. The 5th inning, and we are back at Miller Park. Milwaukee got a big booth full of green jackets here. So I'm right here, everyone. Hello. Got my green jacket on. Mark Ananasio, Debbie, Bill Schroeder's still with us.
I'm here.
You want to put a headset on?
You can put a headset on, or you can hold that mic. We can hear you fine if you don't hear me.
No, we don't need the headset.
So you look good in the green jacket.
Thanks, yeah. My mom would say it matches my green eyes.
That's good. So we're going to talk about a little bit here as we wind through this 5th inning. But first of all, Mark, we missed you by an inning. Normally you come on, the Brewers score a lot of runs. So
yeah, well,
I'm assuming you were in the booth anyway.
We were in the booth in spirit. And we were talking about coming up in the 3rd inning, and maybe that was enough.
You know what I feel like doing right now? I feel like giving my jacket to Debbie.
All right, here we go.
No, but you're going to cover up my Brewers colors.
There we go. But it's Green Week, Debbie.
I know.
There we go. Because it looks much better on you than it does on me. Wouldn't you say?
Appreciate that.
Some say that's setting a low bar, but I wouldn't say that.
Before we get into some of the meat and potatoes of Rock, don't you think we should talk about the owner's fielding prowess?
Yeah, we saw the foul ball come in, and before we saw the replay, we were really pumping you up, saying you were protecting your wife Debbie, and that was an honorable thing to do. And then we saw the replay, Mark. Well, walk us through that foul ball.
Game speed, Rock. You know, it's always hard in game speed.
I did not need protection. I saw that ball going right to him, and Mark claims that he had broken his finger about 10 years ago, and he was protecting his finger.
It was one of my friends charitably described it as a Sunday hop.
There's a liner out to Betancourt for out number 1. And a 6-1 Milwaukee lead. Well, it's been a great week, and obviously we're here with these green jackets and Green Week at Miller Park, and done a lot, not only raising a lot of money for environmental awareness, but also raising awareness, which has been a big part of the week here at Miller Park.
You know, we find with a lot of these things, Brian, is it's all about starting by raising awareness. And the team has always been very conscious of being environmentally friendly, and I'm very excited about this Green Week, and hope we'll continue to do it in seasons to come.
And we heard, Debbie, we heard some chatter. Maybe we could break out some green uniforms, perhaps, as Revere bounces out. Now, you're kind of in the business of making the nice items down in the team store.
They look a little bit too much like the Packers, don't you think?
I don't know.
No?
Maybe that's not a bad thing. We do it once a week or once a year, perhaps.
We do have green hats at spring training on St. Patrick's Day.
Right,
we have green
right.
Milwaukee Brewers hats.
All right.
And,
now tell us about the wives' luncheon today that you were a part of this afternoon.
I came a few days before Mark because every summer I host a lunch for the players' wives and their significant others, and I got to host it at our new apartment this summer, which was really nice. And it's a chance for me to let the wives know how much Mark and I appreciate them. We know that the guys can't do it without them.
That is for sure.
Yep. Yeah. And we also like to tell them how much we appreciate what they do in the community.
Rock and I were thinking we might stop by the apartment later.
You have any leftovers? Can you give us a little bit of
I want to make a modest donation to Brewers Community Foundation. We're having a charity event there on July 6th.
All right.
And we might even give you a discount.
All right. I like it. Casilla goes back up the middle. Betancourt makes the play for the out. And a quick 1-2-3. And we'll keep the Atanasios. Got a lot to talk about when we come back from beautiful Miller Park. Having a good night at the ballpark tonight. Saturday night at Miller Park. 6-1. The Brewers lead the Minnesota Twins. Interleague rivals as Prince Fielder leads off. The Adonacios joining us here in the booth. Rock's here. We all have our green jackets on. And celebrating Green Week here at Miller Park. And a big week coming up for Milwaukee. And Mark, I know it's going to be special for you returning to the Bronx as returning to New York. The Brewers are headed to Yankee Stadium. Yeah,
I still can't believe I was so excited I couldn't even speak in 2005 when the Yankees were here. I actually think that we'll be playing in Yankee Stadium.
We won 2 out of those 3 games. I remember.
We did win 2 out of 3 games, and I'm just really looking forward to it.
Now, next year in the owners' meetings, are you going to talk to somebody about the schedule that the Brewers have to deal with this year in interleague play?
Well, Prince.
Fielder, a little bouncer over to Kadire, and the out is recorded.
It's interesting. The balance you have to strike with interleague is how to make it equitable. At the same time, you look tonight, I bet you we have over 40,000 people here tonight. Sure. And so the fans really like interleague. And I know our players, interestingly, Rock, Ryan Braun told me he thought this would be a good challenge for them to play the Red Sox in Fenway, to play the Yankees in New York. He said, that we need this. And so there's a little, it's a little bit of a balance.
Well, the nice thing is everybody was looking at this part of the schedule in spring training, saying that they better be playing some good baseball going into interleague play, and they did. And it started with their pitching.
We've certainly picked it up, and I think these guys are measuring themselves, and they're measuring up okay. And I think they'd like to do better. And I don't know. I don't want to jinx anything, but I have a pretty good feeling about New York.
The Brewers headed to Yankee Stadium beginning Tuesday, an off day Monday, then a 3-game series at Yankee Stadium, the new Yankee Stadium. And then the Brewers will finish interleague play in Minneapolis at Target Field next weekend. So it'll be 5 consecutive American League opponents at Boston, at Yankee Stadium, and wrapping it up at Target Field in Minneapolis. It has been a tough schedule. The Brewers, though, as we speak today, they are up a game in the National League Central over the St. Louis Cardinals. Ron Renneke has kept a pretty steady ship at this point. What have your impressions been of the Brewers manager? As McGee sends one to right, and Repko makes the play.
Well, Ron has been very steady. His demeanor is very similar, win or lose. And but you can tell when we lose and we don't play well, there's always an undercurrent of frustration, which, frankly, I like to see. Ron's focusing more on how we're playing than whether we win or lose, and I think that's a good tone to set with the players. So if we win and we're not playing well, he notes it, and if we're playing well but we happen to lose a game, he doesn't get too upset about it.
Now let's talk about Summerfest and Pan Am, and it's got to be an exciting time once again for the Adonacio family.
We always hear from Mark on this. We should hear from the proud mother on this.
From the proud mom.
Dan and Pan Am and son Dan, and he's playing the event.
Well, this year Dan's band is playing. Let's see what happens here.
That is over the head of Delman Young, and Betancourt racing on his way to third. He's got a chance to score here, and he will score. An inside the park home run for Uni B. As Young goes crashing into the wall and never able to get up. So Betancourt with a home run, and Delman Young is down and looks hurt.
Yeah, looks like he pinned that leg right into the fence as he made that last effort toward that baseball, but not a very good route by Delman Young, and it cost him not only the run, but the last thing the Twins need right now is another injury. They've got a number of players on the disabled list. Young, not known as the greatest of defensive outfielders. And watch him go back. Watch his last step right there, and that's what's going to cost him. It looked like an ankle perhaps, or maybe a knee. He's grabbing the lower part of his knee, but as he pinned himself against that wall, you could see it turn in a funny way, and he just wasn't able to get up. And finally the center fielder got to the baseball, but much too late.
Yeah, the ball bounced down toward the left field line. Once Betancourt saw the ball bounce free, he was off to the races with his 5th home run The ball actually went off the glove of Delman Young, who has had his troubles in the outfield this season. And the Brewers add to their lead 7-1. And we'll see what is going to happen with Delman Young here. Still on the ground on the warning track in left field. And he's going to be carted off. Every time I see an outfielder go down here at Miller Park, I think about Johnny Diaz, who broke his leg up against the outfield wall. And
you can see the way that ankle turned, that he kind of hit that wall with his foot as it was extended and rolled over on it. And not sure what the extent of the injury is, but certainly can't put much weight, if any, on it. That's going to be the end of the night for Delman Young. Boy, I tell you, it's been a rough stretch for the Minnesota Twins with respect to injuries.
Justin Morneau lost for another 6 weeks with neck surgery. Found out that bit of news yesterday. Denard Span has been out with a concussion since June 6th. And now Delman Young being carted off the field here at Miller Park. And this rough 2011 season for the Minnesota Twins continues. Betancourt's home run gives the Brewers a 7-1 lead now as we play in the bottom of the 5th inning. Comes with 2 outs. Betancourt's second hit. And of course, as soon as we get an injury update from the Twins personnel, we will pass it along. It has taken what was a festive moment here at Miller Park, celebrating a home run. And now very quiet here as Delman Young will be rolled out of here. Tough break for the Twins, and I'm sure Ron Gardenhire has to be asking himself what's next.
Yeah, what's next? And there's been nothing but bad luck. Just when they started to play some pretty good baseball, getting a little bit healthier, Joe Mauer comes back, and that's just about the time where he hears that Morneau's going to be out another month and a half minimum. Jim Thome comes back today, and now it looks as though his left fielder is going to end up on the disabled list as well. So the problems health-wise for Ron Gardenhire and his Twins just continue to get worse.
Well, never a sight you want to see. As Delman Young taken off the field. So Luke Hughes will come on and play first base. Jason Repko will end up in left field. And Kadire will move from first to right field. So those are the changes for the Twins. Actually make the change at first base, and Hughes, who started last night. All right, so we will resume here, and we'll resume our conversation. Sorry, Mark and Debbie, just wanted to clear that up with Delman Young.
You always hate to see a guy get hurt.
Yeah. Now 2 outs. Here is Lucroy after the inside the park home run by Yuniesky Betancourt. But we don't want to shortchange Pan Am. So Debbie, as you were saying, Pan Am at Summerfest. Now we saw Dan last week in Boston, and he's going to be here in Milwaukee.
He was there for Father's Day to spend the day with his dad on Sunday.
What are the dates?
And
as Lucroy bangs a single to right.
He is going to skip the series in New York because he actually has a big show in L.A. His band is opening for another band that has the Postels, that is pretty well known.
Give the Postels some props here.
Yes, the Postels, and that'll be on June the 28th, and then they're performing at Summerfest on July 2nd at 3 p.m. on the rock stage, the Miller Lite rock stage. And unfortunately, the Brewers will not be in town, but we will be here to support Dan, and we want everybody to come out and see Pan Am Band. And we play his music often in the ballpark, but I'm sorry that people can't tell which is his music, but I see a lot of fans dancing to it, so I can tell you it's very good. And I don't just say that as a mom.
He's slapping the bass.
He's the bass
He's
player.
slapping the bass.
Yeah.
The last piece of shameless promotion here is Pan Am Band on Facebook. It's Pan Am Band, one word.
All right.
Yes.
And they have a couple of free songs that are downloaded, and you can save your 99 cents from iTunes, and they're on Facebook. PanAmBand.com.
It's easy to remember on the Miller Lite stage, the Rock stage, because if there's anybody who represents Miller Lite, it's the Rock. The Brewers will be back on the 4th as Gomez goes to right. There's another base hit for Carlos Gomez, his 3rd of the game. Well, Mark, you really do bring some offense. I tell you, every time you're on the air with us.
Yeah, we have. We were saying in Boston, we have had really good luck when we come on the air, and we were talking about coming on the air in the 2nd inning tonight. You guys radioed down to me, and the 7 runs came after that, so it kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Already 11 hits.
But you know what you like to see, Mark and Debbie, is the way the Brewers are getting their hits. Very good approaches to the opposite field. That's something that Dale Swaim has been preaching, and they're doing a good job of that tonight.
You know, it's interesting. You could tell sitting by the dugout, the entire team kind of picked up when Carlos hit the home run, and then all of a sudden the approaches at the plate got better. They started taking more pitches, and I think Liriano had something like 40 pitches in 2 innings and then 40 pitches that inning.
Right.
And so, when we're good, we're very good.
Maybe we should go down to Mark's seat sometimes, Rock. He comes up here a lot.
Right.
Yeah,
He could sit here. We'll go do a game from down there. We have to wear our gloves, though.
Yeah.
Well,
because like Mark.
I'm telling you, in all these years, that was the second ball that came.
Is that right?
Yes, came to our seats.
But Mark, I don't blame you. I would not catch a baseball without a glove.
Well,
I'm with you.
I didn't want to. Anyway, no good reason for snatching at it rather than.
That was not much of a.
That was a Sunday hop. no doubt. That was right there and right by me.
Visiting with the Atanasios, Mark and Debbie. And we're celebrating Green Week this week, which is why they're wearing green jackets.
Nice looking jackets.
Very nice.
You've kept that on for 2 innings. I can't believe
golf,
that.
At Augusta, this is
Mark's
the next
good,
best
man.
thing.
He took Brian's jacket right off him.
Happy to take it.
2 on, 2 out. Gallardo fouls one away. Great to see Miller Park jam-packed tonight. A sellout crowd. And so much fun at the ballpark. Expecting a big surge of fans. Has already been great attendance already, but as we move into the summer now, Mark, and a team that is contending, you have to feel like there's a chance at $3 million this year.
Rick Schlesinger and Bob Quinn, they do all these mathematics, and they think if we're contending, we're going to hit $3 million. And nothing more fun than coming out to see a baseball game at sold-out Miller Park.
Yeah, and you have been on the road, just like we have, and we're very fortunate to have the fans that we have here in Wisconsin, because a lot of very good teams aren't really drawing all that well. Here at Miller Park, we get great crowds just about every night.
Interestingly, Rock, the players are now starting to talk about it, and we hope that creates a buzz, among other players. So kind of makes us a better destination for free agents.
Ryan Braun pointed that out when he signed his 5-year extension about the ballpark, about the fans, as Gallardo is rung up. Well, Mark, Debbie, thanks a lot. We covered a lot of territory there, and you guys look great in your green jackets.
Feel free to take them with you.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
7-1 against the Twins here in the 6th inning, and tonight's timer of the game is Mr. Ed's in Wild Rose, Wisconsin. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
So here we go to the 6th inning at Miller Park. And Gallardo is still at work, coming off a 3-up, 3-down inning. Gallardo has now retired 8 straight. Gave up a single to start the 3rd inning. That has been the last base runner allowed for Yovani Gallardo. Seven to 1 Brewers. We've had an inside the park home run. We have had an outside the park home run. Carlos Gomez went into the Lowe's level as Mauer rips one center field. Gomez turns and runs, and he runs it down. Nice play. Carlos Gomez robbing Mauer of a base hit. AT&T Trivia. The question was, name the 3 first basemen who have beaten out Albert Pujols at first base in the last 7 NL All-Star games. Derek Lee for the Cubs in 05. Fielder did it in 07. And then Lance Berkman in 2008, then an Astro. Pujols will not be at the All-Star game this year. Well, he might be there, but he won't be playing in the All-Star game. He is going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. A flare into right, and that's going to fall for Kadire. So a base hit, the first since the 3rd inning against Gallardo.
Hey, come out to Miller Park tomorrow as the Brewers take on the Twins at 1:10 p.m. The first 15,000 fans, 21 and older, will receive a camouflage Brewers baseball cap, compliments of Miller High Life.
Luke Hughes with 1 gone and a runner at first. And it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes. Hughes with his first trip to the plate here, in for Delman Young. We had a lot going on last inning, and we certainly send our best out to Delman Young. Still waiting on an injury update for the Twins left fielders. Weeks is over, throws on the run, not in time. Hughes beat it out. Infield hit on a slow moving ground ball.
Nick Kadire's hit off the end of the bat. Hughes gets his knuckles busted, but able to beat it out. Ricky not able to get there in time and get the throw in time. All of a sudden, with 1 out, the Twins have something going here in the 6th inning. Hey, Ricky in double play depth. Hughes in the hole, not much on it. He got out of the box very quickly, and by the time Ricky was able to get a throw off, because his momentum was going away from first. And a good call at first.
We'll see many first basemen get down the line like Luke Hughes. So the Twins with 2 on, 1 away. Danny Valencia the batter. Gallardo starts him with a breaking ball strike. Well, there's a beauty. Gallardo with a big bender. And Valencia down in the count 0-2.
Yeah, Gallardo was watching Valencia in last night's ball game. Hit that first pitch fastball from Wolf out of the ballpark. So first 2 pitches in this sequence, both curveballs.
And another one. Valencia gone on strikes. How about Gallardo? 3 straight.
And all well located. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. That one down around the dirt. Valencia just waves at it. He was not about to get a fastball from Gallardo for a strike.
Visit to the mound. Rick Kranitz, quick scouting report. Jim Thome just announced as the pinch hitter. He'll hit in the pitcher spot. Well, you wonder how many years Tomei has remaining. He continues to climb the ladder. He is approaching 600 career home runs.
Well, you figure he's going to get there this year. He doesn't have many to go. He has been some kind of hitter. And one of the good guys in the game of baseball. Down to earth, he always has been. Even in his early days with the Cleveland Indians.
Tomei went from the Indians to the Phillies and was made expendable by the Phillies because they had a young first baseman prospect named Ryan Howard who took the reins in Philadelphia. Tomei's best year, one of his best years, he's had some monster seasons, but his best year collectively was as a Philly in 03. Hit 47 homers. He led all of baseball back in 03. Drove at 131 that year. Still at it. As Gallardo puts a fastball right by him.
Yeah, game his best heater upstairs at 94 miles an hour. You got to be careful, middle speed and fastballs down to Tomei.
He was in the big leagues at the age of 20. He is 40 now. He has spent half of his life in a big league uniform. And down he goes on strikes. Gallardo punches him out. Giovanni with 5 Ks. He's only given up 1 run on 5 hits, and he strikes out a future Hall of Famer in Jim Tomei. The Wisconsin Lottery reminding you to please play responsibly. By Airtran, go, there's nothing stopping you. By the Miller Lite Vortex bottle, taste greatness. And by Robert Hack Diamonds, see 10,000 pieces of jewelry this Sunday only. This past Thursday, as part of Green Week, Milwaukee Brewers employees took to the outdoors to take part in a waste cleanup and invasive species removal along the Hank Aaron State Trail and Menominee River in the vicinity of Miller Park. The cleanup also helped prepare for tomorrow's Bike to the Ballpark event, where fans will bike the trail to Miller Park. All part of Green Week. 7-1 our score. The Brewers lead the Minnesota Twins as we head to the bottom of the 6th. And Phil Dumatrait is the new pitcher for Minnesota, left-hander. Liriano started, Swarzak followed, now Dumatrait. And he'll face the top of the order in Ricky Weeks. 13th appearance of the year for Dumatrait. Liriano goes just 3 2/3 tonight, gives up 8 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned.
Yeah, Dumatrait, one of 3 left-handers for these Minnesota Twins. You know, Ron Gardenhire with the short start I would imagine doesn't want to burn out one of his relief pitchers, so he's going to go kind of stagger everybody through this game so that everybody's going to be fresh.
Weeks rips one in the gap, left center field. That ball is off the base of the wall, and Ricky Weeks keeps it going for the Brew Crew. Another hit, number 12 for Milwaukee, and it's a leadoff double here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, straight fastball right down the middle. And Ricky Weeks continues his hot hitting, his second hit. And fastball straight as a string, outer half, and Ricky with that quick bat able to rifle one into the gap in left center. So the hits keep coming for the Milwaukee Brewers today. 12 hits, and we're in the 6th.
Double number 20 for Ricky Weeks this year to go along with his 14 home runs. And here is Cory Hart. Does not have a hit tonight, but he has walked twice, scored a run. And what a night for the offense. We have seen an inside the park home run tonight. Yuniesky Betancourt joining Prince Fielder with inside the park home runs against the Twins. I'll never forget that one Fielder had. That was at the Metrodome, and it went up and bounced off a speaker. And Fielder with his first of 2 inside the park home runs in his career. Of his 212 career home runs, he's only failed to hit 2 of them inside the park, as Weeks will end up at third base. That'll be a wild pitch.
His other inside the parker came right here at Miller Park against the Toronto Blue Jays in interleague play. You don't look at Prince Fielder and say that's a guy that's going to hit an inside the park home run. But he did twice.
Speaking of home runs, you know, this is the anniversary of Fielder's first home run. Did it against the Minnesota Twins back in '05. It was June 25th, 2005. Ricky Weeks and Prince Fielder both homered in that game. And they re-aired that game earlier today on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And you and Darren Sutton at the call, and a young Ryan Braun, just drafted, was in the booth with you guys.
Yeah, we were talking to Brawny. He was on his way to, what was it, the Pioneer League, right?
Yeah, Helena, I believe. Hart draws his 3rd walk of the game. And runners at the corners now with nobody out. Powerball home run leaderboard as it stands. The Brewers with 2 of the top sluggers in the game, and Fielder and Braun. Matt Kemp is the league leader right now with 21 homers. Fielder's 2nd. Braun is tied for 7th.
And the Brewers back in first place with 88 home runs, one ahead of the Arizona Diamondbacks. That inside the park home run for Betancourt put him over the top.
2 on, nobody out. Here is Braun. Singled in a run. Back in the 3rd. He scored a run as well. Did you get a chance to watch the re-airing of the game in '05?
I did not.
No, you didn't.
Sorry, I didn't watch any television today. Of course, my television is always on Fox Sports Wisconsin, but it wasn't in the house.
Fly ball to right, should be deep enough to score Weeks. Kadire under it. And here comes Ricky. The throw goes to second. Braun with another RBI. 8-1 Milwaukee. Well, Rock, had you been watching earlier today, your memory would have been refreshed. Prince Fielder, his first career home run, June 25th, 2005. His first of now 212. Fielder is tied with Jeff Jenkins right now for 2nd on the all-time franchise list. Robin Yount is the franchise leader with 251.
And even back then, he took him to left center. Even as a young man.
That was a bomb, too. That was well over 400 feet. And what is now the Harley Davidson deck in left center. Ricky Weeks and Prince Fielder both homered for the first time in their careers. Mark Concannon caught up with Doug Melvin earlier today, and interesting comments from the Brewers general manager about that day specifically. You know, the Brewers are trying to turn this franchise around, and there have been a lot of talk about these young, talented hitters in the minor league system. And for many Brewers fans, the first chance to see him do something in the big leagues. And Fielder, almost in the same spot, lifts one up and out of here. Prince Fielder with an opposite field home run. Right on cue. Number 213 for his career. Second place all time in franchise history. And tack 2 more runs onto it. 10-1 Milwaukee as Fielder goes deep, number 21 of the year.
Some kind of strong Prince Fielder, lefty versus lefty. Prince has got a batting average over 300 this year against left-handers. He is having a spectacular season, Prince Fielder. Taking that high fastball up and out of here. And Prince's 3rd home run of the year against left-handed pitching. And now with 19 RBIs.
Six years to the day after his first big league clout, Fielder goes deep again against the Minnesota Twins. And now all alone. Second place on the franchise list. I know Brewers fans would love Fielder to stay in a Brewers uniform long enough to catch Robin Yount at some point.
That would be nice.
TC is down for the count.
Yeah, TC's had better days here at Miller Park. The Brewers are on a roll against the Twins. They've won 5 straight coming into tonight's game.
And Milwaukee swept Minnesota last year here at Miller Park. They're so cute at that age. As McGee takes a called strike 3. Second out of the inning. This is the kind of offense Ron Renicky had envisioned when he took the job. Offense has been very streaky this year, but not tonight. 10 runs on 13 hits in support of Gallardo.
And waiting for the bottom of the order to do something, and they certainly have. 8 of the hits tonight have come from the 6 through 9 hitters, including Gallardo. He's got a base hit.
Betancourt with 2, including the inside the Parker. Lucroy has a couple of hits. Gomez with 3 hits tonight, including a 2-run home run in the 3rd that gave the Brewers the lead. Still have not heard about Delman Young yet. He was injured on Betancourt's fly ball back in the 5th inning. Betancourt just kept running and able to score on the inside the park homer. Delman Young was taken out on a stretcher.
Yeah, he could not put any pressure on that foot or ankle, whatever it was, and that did not look very good when he left.
Betancourt, little slicer in the center field. This is Revere, and the inning is over. But another big inning for Milwaukee. They had 3 more. 10-1 Brewers. We go to the 7th.
7, top 7. And the Brewers have been laying the lumber down. It started in the 3rd. Carlos Gomez off Liriano, deep to left, a 2-run shot, made it 2-1. Ryan Braun, a base hit to center. He's hitting 16 straight games. Revere kicked it around, 2-run score to make it 4-1. Casey McGee, little punch shot to right, got the job done. 5-1 Milwaukee, and then in the 5th, Betancourt with a blast to left. Young runs into the wall. He got hurt, left the game, and Mooney touched them all. He circled the bases inside the park. Homer Prince, number 21. It's out of here. 10-1 Brewers. A festive occasion here at the ballpark for the offense tonight, guys.
No question. And a festive occasion here in the booth as well. Mark, we've had a number of guests, including the women of Marquette. Say hello to our good buddy Patty Harsh.
Yeah.
Barb Kelleher from the athletic department at Marquette.
They look like they were having a very good night going.
Very festive mood here. As McGee makes a play. And Repko is retired one away here in the 7th inning.
And why wouldn't you be in a festive mood here at the ballpark? Looks like a sellout tonight. Brewers off to a good start tonight. Beautiful night here in Wisconsin. About time, isn't it?
Feels like summer.
Sun out.
While we're in the shout out mode, I want to send out a very special happy birthday wish to Kate Schroeder.
That's right. The birthday of my better half. She's here at the ballpark tonight.
She's probably fitting right in with the women of Marquette.
And speaking of festive moods, I would imagine it's very festive up there in the old Fox Sports Wisconsin suite.
All right.
Yeah, happy birthday, sweetheart.
And if your wife's anything like mine, then that's a birthday that will be carried on for a few weeks. It's kind of a birthday month.
It's a birthday month, yes. It's going to be carried on well into July.
So happy birthday, Kate.
Yes.
I think we got just about everybody covered tonight. Ricky Weeks makes a play on a hop, 2 outs. Tolbert is retired. And in the middle of all of that offense and all of the festivities here in the booth, Gallardo is pitching a gem here tonight. He's given up just 1 run on 5 hits. And he'll be kicking himself about the run he gave up. Had 2 quick outs in the 2nd inning, an infield hit, then he walked the pitcher Liriano. Then Revere, a base hit to left. It was a 2-out rally by the Twins. They took a 1-0 lead in that 2nd inning. Carlos Gomez hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 3rd, and the Brewers have not looked back. 10-1.
Yeah, a bit of a struggle early for Yo with his command, and he had 3 walks in the first couple of innings. But able to settle down with that 5-run 3rd inning.
There's a base hit to right as Revere comes up with his 2nd hit of the night against Gallardo. Final game of the series tomorrow. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. The Brewers and the Twins. 12:30 is airtime for Brewers Live. We're hoping to catch up with Jonathan Lucroy tomorrow. And then an off day Monday. The Brewers will be at Yankee Stadium, the home run friendly $1 billion ballpark in the Bronx. Also known by many as a wiffle ball field, because it is a very short porch and right. Yankees lead the big leagues in home runs by a long shot, and it'll stay that way as long as they have the great sluggers in that park. Should be fun. It's a beautiful stadium. Opened in 09.
The Yankees coming in with 107 home runs already. Not even halfway through the season
yet. How many games have they played? At 78, 79, something like that?
74.
Wow.
My first trip into New Yankee Stadium, as it will be for just about all the Brewers. The guys that have been in the American League have been there before.
They did not miss a beat. It is one of the great stadiums in all of sports, and for $1 billion it should be, but it's like a walking museum around the concourses. If you're a Brewers fan and you're making the trip, make sure you come early, get a chance to spend a little time in the new Monument Park, and all through the concourses there at Yankee Stadium. A lot of great history.
That was one of my favorite stops along the way. You know, both as a player and as a broadcaster when the Brewers were in the American League. Went there every year from '84 to '97.
Gallardo strikes out Casilla to end the inning and perhaps his night. 6 Ks for Gallardo, 7 strong against the Twins.
Gallardo tonight, and Davey, he got some offense along the way, and we're going to specifically talk about the 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters collecting 8 hits, a couple of home runs in support.
Well, I think that's one of the things that he was such a balanced offense tonight, but it was important that that bottom of that lineup produced the way they have, and it made it a lot easier because what it did too, it turned back over the top of the lineup.
It certainly did, and the Brewers owning a 10-1 lead right now, a chance to not only take this series but go for the series sweep tomorrow. Lots to talk about on Brewers Live postgame, including our instructional. Bert Blyleven's going to join us again. What are you guys going to be doing, David?
Well, we're going to be working on what was it?
It's going to be plate coverage. It's going to be plate coverage and pitching as well, and how you pitch to certain batters, right?
That's right, exactly. You know, I was just dumbstruck by all this offense. I forgot what we were going to do.
Well, now we got it down. We're ready to roll, boys.
I don't think you are, actually, Craig. I don't think you're ready at all. You got to get Davies. You need to take him back to the green room.
That's right.
See? With his green jacket.
Prep him a little bit.
Davey
just they do that to Davey, right?
Yeah, put him on the spot like that. The lovable Dave Nelson. At the plate, presented by Wendy's on Carlos Gomez tonight. 3 hits, a 2-run homer in the 3rd inning. That is going to be a must-see instructional tonight. Rock, what will your role be in the instructional?
My guess is I'm going to be behind the plate in some capacity. You know, hanging his signs for Bert. Hopefully he doesn't have a ball in his hand because I know what he's going to do with it.
Shallow right. Casilla is back. He wants it, and he's got it. First time Gomez has been retired tonight.
If there is one thing that I could tell you about Bert Blyleven is that you never know what to expect. So I would strongly urge everybody to tune into that instructional tonight.
Between Davey and Bert, you really just never know. I always feel like Davey's going to raise his fist and go, "Road hog!" It's my Mr. Magoo reference. Remember that?
I got that. I'm not sure if anybody else did. Oh, boy.
Josh Wilson pinch hitting. Well, it's been a fun night at the ballpark. Great crowd, beautiful night. Sun came out for the first time in 9 months today. And 10 runs on the board on 13 hits. The only guy without a hit is Cory Hart, but he's walked 3 times.
Yeah, he's been on base 3 times, scored a couple of runs.
Ball and 2 strikes on Josh Wilson, pinch hitting for Gallardo. And he is down on strikes. The inning is over. We go to the 8th. Twins coming up. Brewers lead 10-1.
In Milwaukee tomorrow at 12:30 in the afternoon. We're just dealing with some clouds and sunshine with the first pitch temperature at 70 degrees, wind southeast, 8 to 16 miles per hour. It's going to be cool and comfortable.
That looks nice. Looks like a great forecast for tomorrow, the day game. And a beautiful night here tonight in Milwaukee. 10-1 our score. Brewers lead the Twins. Our Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin text question. This is for Rock. Who was the Brewers' biggest rival when you played? Brian in Wauwatosa wants to know.
I would have to say it was. I think the rivalry between the Twins and the Brewers was always a good one. But I think the most heated rivalry was with the White Sox. Always something seemed to happen crazy when in those series. I mean, there were fights in those series between the Brewers and White Sox. I remember when Phil Garner and Terry Bevington went at it. I mean, 2 managers went at it at one point in that series. That was at New Comiskey Park. But I would have to say that that White Sox Brewers, the matchups between those teams, no matter where it was, whether it's Chicago or Milwaukee, were always very intense. Not just on the field, but in the stands.
That short drive between cities feels a lot like the Brewers-Cubs rivalry now in the National League. See the changes the Brewers have made with Nyjer Morgan in, Wilson over at third, the former White Sox, Mark Kotze taking over for Fielder at first. Chance to give some of the regulars a few innings off their feet.
And a short turnaround tomorrow, the day game. You get Braun and Fielder an opportunity to take a couple of innings off.
And Tim Dillard out of the bullpen for Gallardo. Mauer sends one foul and out of play. Oh man, that is nice. Look at that. That is full-blown sweater. Oh, yes. Even Prince has to smile about that. Weeks makes a play for the out. Mauer retired. He's 1 for 4 tonight. Did you ever have anybody shave your last name in their back, Rock?
No, I have not. I'm not aware of anybody. I don't think I would want them to. How about you?
No, not yet.
Down there in Texas?
No.
Maybe a Longhorn. Somebody did that in your honor.
I've seen that. Speaking of Longhorns, Ron Gardenhire. Longhorn. That was some serious manscaping. What kind of time do you think that took? That's a Joe Crawford special right there.
Too much time. Too much time on his hands.
I mean, the number, the name, the contrast. Beautiful piece of work.
Not sure what to say about that, actually. I think that speaks for itself.
You don't have any analysis for the back shave?
I don't.
Got a feeling that might itch in a couple of days. Hopefully we'll see him out tomorrow. Good thing his favorite player's not Saltalamacchia.
Great minds, right? That would be trouble.
2-2 from Dillard. And a line drive to right. Kadire with a base hit. What a good hitter he is.
That used the whole field. His second base hit. He's been on 3 times. Ended his hitting streak last night, but was on base twice.
And here's Luke Hughes again. Hughes into the game for the injured Delman Young. His second plate appearance, had an infield hit in the 6th. Tomorrow it'll be Chris Narveson against Carl Pavano for the Twins. The rotation is set for the Brewers against the Yankees. Greinke, Markham, and Wolf. Looks like Markham's going to be able to make his next start, according to all reports. Braun holding court with the starting pitching. So Greinke will get the opener Tuesday, and he'll have the benefit of 2 days off, 2 extra days off on the team calendar, which will be his 7th day instead of his 5th. And we'll see how that affects Zach Greinke. Markham will also have a couple of extra days, certainly something he needs.
You figure it can benefit a pitcher down the road, getting some time off, but the extra 2 days, I think that's something to be, keep an eye on. You lose your rhythm, you're out of your routine somewhat. Ron Renicky has elected to stay with his rotation, keep it intact, not bump anybody.
They say he went. Well, it was interesting. Kadire was jogging to second base. Brewers could have had an out there on Kadire. He just assumed Hughes was on his way to first. He'll go to second as they call him with a swing. Rick Kranitz yelling at Lucroy to throw to first base. So now it's 3-2. And Kotsay, nice pickup. Betancourt, what a great play to get the out. Boy, some kind of effort.
Very acrobatic and athletic by Betancourt. Boy, that could have been a disaster. But Kotze with a very quick throw to second base. The throw was a little bit low into the center field side of the bag. And watch Betancourt. He goes down and gets it and is able to keep his left foot on the bag. That's a heck of a play. Well done. Barely able to keep his foot on the bag if he did.
Well, you might see Kotze get a little time at first base in New York. In the last series in an American League Park, Renicky used the designated hitter to try to get some of his regulars off their feet, but still in the game. He used Fielder, Weeks, and Braun as the designated hitter in the 3 games. Kotze's been taking a lot of ground balls at first and getting a few innings under his belt here tonight. First base is pretty much a closed position for the Brewers as long as Fielder is healthy. Not only does he play every game, but he typically plays in just about every inning of every game.
And you figure the Prince wanted to stay in there and finish this one out, but Renicky, as you mentioned, want to get Kotze some reps over there at first base in case he decides to use him in New York.
And a base hit. Danny Valencia. Now with more on the designated hitter coming up at Yankee Stadium, we check in with Mark.
BA with 6 games in American League parks next week. Ron Renicky says the Brewers are seriously considering calling up a player to be the DH for the week. Renicky says there are 2 strong candidates for call-up. He wouldn't name names, but you have to figure Matt Gamel tearing it up in Nashville is a serious possibility.
Matt Gamel is having a great year at AAA Nashville. 2 for 4 last night. Gamel hit his 16th home run of the year last night. And Rocky's hitting .319. First trip through interleague play. The Brewers decided not to go out of the ranks. But Gamel, you figure, would be the leading candidate to get that spot. Shattered bat. Dillard has to avoid the barrel of the bat. He makes a nice play to get the out. And Rivera is retired. Inning over. 10-1. The Brewers still lead the Minnesota Twins as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Out of the 8th inning from Miller Park in Milwaukee. Well, we take you back 2005, June 25th. We talked about Prince Fielder's first major league homer. Ricky Weeks also hit his first career home run. It came against Johan Santana, coming off a Cy Young Award. Weeks went deep for the first time. Ricky lifted from today's game just now as Craig Counsell will pinch hit. And here is Joe Nathan, one of the great closers in the game, still trying to fight his way back from Tommy John ligament replacement surgery. Another big name Twin who spent some time on the disabled list this year.
Yeah, he was activated before yesterday's game. Twins Brewers game yesterday, but it's been a struggle for Nathan, and it takes some guys a little bit longer to get back from Tommy John surgery, others a little bit quicker, but Nathan seems to be struggling. It usually takes a full year before you really start to feel back to normal, if you ever do. Some guys have to learn how to pitch all over again.
Craig Counsell pinch hitting. Nathan missed all of last year, which followed a career year. Had a career high 47 saves in 09 for the Twins. Actually got off to a pretty good start this season. Was in that closer's role after a healthy spring training, but started to have some trouble with his elbow. Flexor muscle, strained right elbow off that Tommy John surgery, and they put him on the disabled list. And this is his first outing since the 23rd of May. So it's been a little over a month. Got 3 saves early. Pitched in back-to-back minor league rehabilitation games this past week, Tuesday and Wednesday. 3 scoreless innings down in the minor leagues. So this is the kind of game that Ron Gardenhire can use to his advantage. Get Nathan some activity. Matt Capps is the Twins closer right now. He hasn't pitched in a while either. Capps hasn't pitched in a game since the 18th of June.
Yeah, it's a long time to keep your closer down in the bullpen. A week.
Garcia makes a play on Craig Counsell for out number 1. Well, he's had a great career, and he's hoping it can continue. Nathan in his 11th year in the big leagues. 3 times he has posted 40+ saves. And you're seeing tonight 2 of the big pieces for the Twins franchise that came together in that trade for A.J. Pierzynski. The San Francisco Giants. Liriano and Nathan coming over in that deal. Pierzynski wasn't in San Francisco very long. But Nathan has been the big piece. He's been an all-star, 4-time all-star.
Yeah, with all that, even with the Minnesota Twins losing their closer last year, Twins still able to make the postseason. That's what is so surprising about what is going on with the Twins this year.
Yeah, Matt Capps was big for him. John Roush without Nathan and Morneau. And Morneau is going to be out at least another 6 weeks. Former MVP needs neck surgery. Earlier tonight, the Twins lost Delman Young. He was taken out on a cart, on a stretcher, injured leg. And the beat keeps on for Ron Gardenhire. His club has dropped 3 straight. This would be their 4th consecutive loss after they ripped off 15 wins in the month of June prior to their stretch in San Francisco, and they dropped 2 out of 3.
And one guy comes off the disabled list, another guy goes on. That's the kind of a season has been for the Twins.
Hart, the only starter without a base hit tonight, but 3 walks. And he scored twice. Saw Jim Thome tonight. He returned from the disabled list. Thome has been nursing a quad injury and a back injury. Gallardo struck him out in the 6th. Giovanni was terrific tonight. 7 innings, just 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. And Giovanni in line for his 9th win, which would be a tie for first in the National League. Gallardo would join Hudson, Jurgens, Hamels, Correa, and Halladay.
Yeah, except for maybe a handful of starts, the last month and a half has been very good for that Brewers starting rotation. The guys have been very good.
Full count to Cory Hart. And that one is launched way back left field. How far will it fly? A solo home run for Cory Hart. And it is 11-1 Milwaukee as Hart goes deep for the 8th time this year and joins the rest of the starters with hits tonight. All 9 who began play tonight with at least 1 hit. Hart the last to do it. And it's 11-1 Milwaukee on 14 hits now.
Yep, right down the middle, about belt high, and Nathan knew it as soon as it seemed as though it left his hand. And Jimmy John's delivery of the game, home run number 4 for the Brewers tonight.
Hart joins Fielder and Gomez and Yuniesky Betancourt, who had an inside the park home run. Top home run hitting team in the National League with 4 dingers tonight. Three walks and a homer for Cory Hart. And 3 runs scored. Katse bounces one out to Casilla. Out number 2 for Nathan. Over the American League tonight, CC Sabathia picked up his 10th win of the year. Yankees beat the Colorado Rockies, first to 10 wins. CC Sabathia 10-4 at an ERA of 3.25. And then Justin Verlander joined him not too long after, as Verlander beat the Arizona Diamondbacks. He shut him out tonight. Verlander to 10-3, an ERA of 2.38.
Yeah, the Brewers might see Sabathia on Thursday in New York.
Yankees have not announced their starting rotation yet.
That would be his day to throw.
Nyjer Morgan batting for the first time. Lazy pop up. Matt Tolbert is out, and he's got it. We head to the 9th. The Brewers add 1 more stake. It is 11-1. Cory Hart goes deep, number 8 of the season. Brewers fans have enjoyed every bit of this state rivalry. The Milwaukee Brewers, Minnesota Twins, at a wedding party here tonight among the many in the sellout crowd. 11-1 our score. Mark DeFelice on the pitch. Craig Counsell will remain in the game. He'll play second base. All of the position players in the game, with the exception of George Gutaris, is the only one who will not play tonight. Gallardo started. Dillard worked a scoreless 8th inning. And now DeFelice here in the 9th. Jason Repko to lead off. Now the Blue Jays beat the Cardinals today. Former Brewer Carlos Villanueva started, went 6 innings, just 2 runs.
He's having a decent year this year.
He really is. Spot starting. Long man. 6-2 the final score. The Blue Jays beat the Cardinals. Brewers can add to their National League Central Division lead. Villanueva is now 5-1 with a 3.15 ERA.
Yeah.
He beat Jaime Garcia today. DeFelice strikes out Repko for out number 1. Well, it's too hard to dole out player of the game honors tonight, so our Menards players of the game, the entire Brewers offense. 11 runs on 14 hits, 4 home runs. Every starter in the lineup tonight, including the pitcher Gallardo, with at least 1 hit. Home runs tonight from Cory Hart, Prince Fielder, Yuniesky Betancourt. He had an inside the park home run, and Carlos Gomez.
Yeah, one of his best nights of the year. That big 2-run home run got the Brewers going in the 3rd inning. And before that time, Francisco Liriano had faced a minimum through the first 2 innings and it was looking pretty good. But the Brewers made some very good adjustments as they got through the batting order the 2nd time.
Yep, Gomez's home run in the 3rd inning gave Milwaukee the lead, and they would not look back. Gallardo tightened up the reins, went 7 tonight, in line for his 9th win. In the air to center field, Gomez makes the catch. Out number 2. It's just a passing shot. Did you see the size of Prince Fielder's arms leaning over that dugout? And it's just a random thought, but look at that.
Yeah.
Massive. Bob Uecker walks by him in the clubhouse, says, "Hey, Prince, put some shoes on those hands." Fielder with his 21st home run of the year tonight. Now 67 RBIs. Both atop the National League. He's tied with Matt Kemp in homers. Twins down to their last out. Ron Roenicke has been waiting for an outburst like this. That is a foul ball. Brewers looking to go to 43-35 for the year. 8 games over. An impressive home record as well. 28-11 in their home ballpark. Best record in the National League at home. Nigel Morgan gives it a look, and Wilson is over as well. Josh Wilson makes the catch. What a play. Wow. The 27th out, the most impressive of the night, as Josh Wilson makes a great catch going up against the tarp. Well, look at the effort the Brewers put again to finish this game off. Morgan and Wilson, something else. great night at Miller Park for Brewers fans. An 11-1 win. Gallardo to 9-4. Largest winning margin of the season. Previously had been 9. So that's our story tonight. Much more still to come on this game. Craig Kashan, what do you have coming up on Brewers Live?
Boy, what an offensive effort by this club here tonight. Prince Fielder among those who hit home runs. Who will join us post-game? We've got a long list of candidates for you, including the manager and a special on-field instructional.